Yo, what up guys, I'm Sammy and welcome back to the Soul Drop, and this is my performance review of the Nike Kobe 8 Protro. So they finally Protro'd the Kobe 8. Well, I guess they did it last year, but I was never able to get my hands on the pair, but I finally got my hands on the pair with this colorway. And yeah, if you guys didn't know, the original Kobe 8 is one of my favorite hoop shoes of all time because it's so lightweight, so responsive, but not the best for impact protection. But what they changed in the Protro is the cushion, right? So yeah, I mean, it retails for 190 bucks, which is freaking expensive. Yeah, it's also very limited, which sucks. But anyways, how is the performance of the Kobe 8 Protro? And if you guys didn't know, Protro stands for Performance Retro, which is really dope. I love what Kobe did, you know what I mean? He always focuses on the performance of the shoe and how it feels, and that's what he did with the like his newer shoes, you know what I mean? So not just retro the shoe, right? Not just have the same exact tech and stuff like that, but he Protro'd it and gave an upgrade to the actual shoe, right? But anyways, let's get started off with the Tracciones, and in this color we have this fully translucent purple color, and we have some your herringbones, and we have the Kobe shield here in the heel. So how is the traction? It's freaking amazing, guys. So this shoe doesn't really squeak all too much, right? Once you break it in, it starts to squeak a little bit on certain stops, right? Especially if it's like very humid, but for the most part, it's actually quite silent. There's actually not a whole lot of squeak to this actual outsole, which of course that has nothing to do with performance. But of course, like the original Kobe 8, it doesn't really squeak that much, right? But if you're playing on a clean court, oh my gosh, the stop is really good. It just stops, you know what I mean? It has a really good bite. And also for dust, it doesn't pick up that much dust either, you know what I mean? Like, for example, I was playing with the Book 1s or like also the Tatum 2s, and even when it was dusty, it was sliding around a good amount, right? But for the Kobe 8 Protro, even when I was playing on a dusty court, I really didn't have to wipe that much, and it just bit through dust extremely well, and it just still had a really nice bite, right? If it was super dusty, of course it will pick up dust, but it's a very easy and slight wipe, and like I said, it doesn't pick up dust like that much. So yeah, performance on dust is really good as well. And if you're playing on outdoor court, probably not the best option, right? The rubber is like kind of hard, but the grooves are a little bit thin, especially where the herringbone is, and also the grooves aren't super deep either. So for outdoor use, probably not the best. But if you're playing on indoor court, whatever surface you're playing on, you should be good to go. This has an amazing bite. And also you can see the carbon fiber midfoot chain plate exposed here. And now moving on to the heel to toe transition, it does feel extremely smooth, right? So here in the heel, we have a little bit of a curve shape, but also fully exposed foam, which I do like about the Kobe 8s, right? So comparing it to the Kobe 9, which is just all plastic here in the heel, that's what makes it clunky. You know what I mean? Because there's no compression from the actual foam. But with the Kobe 8, there's a nice little compression, right? Even though it is a drop in midsole, this helps it not make it feel as clunky here in the heel. And then also coming here into the forefoot, we have a nice curved shape. And look, super duper flexible, like all Kobe's with a drop in, you know what I mean? So Kobe 8, Kobe 9, Kobe 11, they're all super flexible like this. Very easy to flex, which makes it feel pretty dang smooth for heel to toe transition. But one thing that I would have liked though is maybe a little bit more springiness. You know, it's not super springy, you know what I mean? So there's that. Moving on to the cushioning setup, so of course that is one thing that they changed, and we do have a drop-in react foam, which is super duper nice. Also on the lateral side here, we have a little bit more of a cage, right? It seems to be caged a little bit. I don't know why they did that. They definitely did not need to do that because it's super thin, right? So it definitely is an improvement in cushion comparing to the lunar line that's found in the original Kobe 8. So the lunar line is really nice when you first get it, right? Super duper soft, right? But it does bottom out pretty quickly, and also on harder impacts, since lunar line, that drop in lunar line is really thin. It hurts your feet when you're doing hard impact. So especially in the forefoot, but also in the heel, right? But here in the Kobe 8 Protro, the foam for the drop in midsole definitely feels a little bit thicker, just a tiny bit. And also because React is just softer and also more resilient than Lunarlon, this cushion still feels nice, and also it's definitely a lot better than Lunarlon, right? But it's still not amazing, however, you know what I mean? Like if you're doing harder impacts, you'll definitely feel it a little bit. Like I said, it's better than the original Kobe 8s, but still comparing it to something that has really good impact protection like I don't know, the KD 16, you know, the LeBrons, is definitely not the best. But of course, one thing that you do get here in the Kobe 8 Protro is court feel. The court feel is really, really good. Also, the step and coverage pretty dang nice because your foot is right on top of the React. However, it's not super duper soft because, like I said, it is still pretty thin for the foam. But yeah, overall, it's pretty dang nice. You know what I mean? If you want like a really low to the ground responsive setup with pretty good step and comfort because your foam is right on top of that foam, this is a really nice setup, right? But if you're looking for something a little bit more like, you know, robust, like a thicker cushion, more impact protection, a little bit more bounce, this obviously is not the best option. But for me, it's really, really nice, you know what I mean? Because I did enjoy, you know, like the Kobe 8, Kobe 9, Kobe 11 setup. This is a little bit more of an improvement from those, right? So there's that. Moving on to the upper. So we have pretty much the same exact EM material that's found in the original Kobe 8, right? It feels a little bit glued down, you know, but that's good for support, right? It's also thin, you know, especially once you break it in, conforms to your foot very well. Also, the quality feels pretty nice, but also we have an embroidered swoosh, which is nice. And then for the tongue, that's also another little bit of a difference there. We have a good amount of padding for the tongue. The original Kobe 8 didn't have that. It's also a half booty construction tongue, giving you a better overall one-to-one fit. And also here in the midfoot area, you can see how thin this mesh material is, right? There are some underlaying materials, right? But it's just so dang thin here, right? On the medial and also on the lateral side. Here in the ankle area, we do have a little bit of padding, like an average amount of padding. But overall, on foot, it feels really nice. It's thin, it's supportive, it conforms to my foot very well. I also like the addition of the padding here for the tongue. So overall, I do like the upper. And also we do have a thin layer of fuse going around the tip of the toe for extra durability and support, especially if you're doing toe drag. And now moving on to the fit. So I went up half a size and this shoe fits me long, right? So lengthwise, there definitely is a little bit of length. However, this shoe is actually quite narrow. So I feel like going up half a size for me was pretty good, right? Especially since the texture of the actual drop in mid. So it keeps my foot in place, which we'll get into in lockdown. So because of that, yeah, I don't really mind the extra length. And I feel like most people, you should be fine with that as well, because like I said, it is very, very narrow. So most people, you should probably go up half a size. If you have a very narrow foot, however, you should be fine going true to size, but just be careful with that. And if you have a wide foot, probably go up a full size or maybe a little bit more than that, like a size and a half, right? But for me, it was a pretty good fit. It's tight here in the toe box, pretty narrow, but there's just a little bit of length for me going up half a size, right? And now moving on to the support and lockdown, also zero issues, right? One thing I think they could have changed, however, is putting like a sidewall on the actual drop-in, which is what we see a lot in modern basketball shoes with drop-in midsoles like the Zion 3, the Player 1 Plus and stuff like that. You know, the Kobe 9s even have it. But yeah, anyway, still not a huge problem because we do have lateral counters, right? We can see all of this, right? The foam coming up, acting as a sidewall here in the forefoot. Also here in the heel, we have this external TPU heel counter. So for lateral containment, my foot is not coming out of the footbed. And also another thing that really helps with lockdown is the texture of the actual drop-in, right? So with this React foam, it just grabs your sock. You know, like when you're putting the shoe on, it's kind of annoying because it does kind of roll like underneath your foot. It rolls up a little bit, you know what I mean? Because it just grabs your sock. But once you fix that and you have the shoe on properly, just grabs your sock and just feels super duper locked down, right? So lateral containment was really good. Lateral stability is also really good. We do have a wide base, you know, so I didn't really have any issues with lateral instability. Also, I don't know what it is with Kobe's, but they always have really good heel lockdown, you know what I mean? Probably because it cups, you know, kind of cups here in the heel. So overall support and lockdown is really, really good, you know, and that's weird because this shoe is really minimal and lightweight, which we'll get into, right? So there's that. And now moving on to the weight. Yeah, like I said, this shoe is very, very lightweight, right? So the original Kobe 8 is the lightest basketball shoe ever. You know what I mean? It's like 8 ounces, and that's lighter than running shoes, you know? But the Kobe 8 Protro, it definitely adds a little bit of weight. You know, it's 11.55 ounces, right? So don't get me wrong, 11.55 ounces is still really, really light, right? You know what I mean? Like that's still a really light shoe, but compared to the original Kobe 8, it's pretty heavy, you know what I mean? Compared to what, 3 ounces heavier, you know what I mean? So I don't know what they did to the shoe to add 3 whole ounces, but that's crazy, you know what I mean? And then let's compare it to the other shoe. Yeah, 11.65 ounces, right? So it still feels really, really light, just not the original light feeling of the original Kobe 8, right? But yeah, the Kobe 8 Protro is still really responsive. The traction is top tier. The cushion is low to the ground responsive. Support and lockdown, like I said, is really, really good. So yeah, when you're playing the shoe, you feel extremely quick, right? Now moving on to the ventilation. Ventilation is really good, right? So we have pretty good airflow through this EM. There is a little bit of underlaying material, especially here in the toe box, but overall, you know, it's a really thin material too. So it's still a pretty cool shoe, you know. And I guess moving on to the aesthetics. The Kobe 8 is one of my favorite looking shoes. You know what I mean? I love the Kobe shield, you know, kind of behind the external heel counter. I love the embroidered swoosh as well. And also, you can see the numbers on the actual upper, right? 8, 24, and 2 for Kobe and his daughter. So yeah, tell us what you guys think of the aesthetics of the Kobe 8 down in the comment section below. Aesthetically though, I would definitely say the Kobe 9 and also the Kobe 11 is my favorite, right? But the Kobe 8 is still up there. And now wrapping things up, yes, the Kobe 8 Protro is a top tier performer, and I do like how they kind of updated the actual performance a little bit, you know what I mean, with the drop-in being React. And also I do like the extra padding here for the tongue. I don't like how it's so much heavier though. You know what I mean? It's like 2.5, 3 ounces heavier, which, like I said, I don't know where all of that weight is coming from. I wish they would have made it like the original Kobe. Maybe make it a little bit heavier, you know, like 9, 10 ounces. But anyways, like I said though, it's still a lightweight shoe, so it's not a huge deal. And I do like how the cushion is a little bit improved as well with the React, you know, a little bit better impact protection and a little bit better step and comfort. So, and if you're a guard, obviously you will enjoy playing in the shoe a lot. If you're a bigger dude, probably not the best option, but I feel like it should be okay. You know what I mean? Can make it work, support's still good. But of course, impact protection for really hard impacts isn't the best, right? But anyways, that about concludes my performance review of the Nike Kobe 8 Protro. Again, if you guys want to cop, I try to leave a link in the description box, but that's it. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.